and how real it is, So on the micro level, that was the macro level, the earth. Now on the micro level, I want you to know there's the same interaction going on between you and somebody else when your personal energy fields interact. So let's just talk briefly about your personal energy field. You're sitting right inside of it right now. It's like a beautiful, hopefully beautiful, colored bubble of lights. And it has many layers. The first layer mimics your body. It's a dead replica of it. And the second one's all about your emotions. And the third level is all about your head, your brain, your thoughts. The fourth level, that's where you interact with chords. Again, I'm going to talk about chords today. So you all have gifts, every one of you. You might be clairsentient, where you feel other people, or maybe you're more auditory and you hear things, you hear people's thoughts or conversations, or maybe you're more visual and you see, you're kind of clairvoyant and you see fluid-like colors and whatnot. And the more you develop yourself spiritually, the more you initiate to higher spiritual levels, the more you see and not see, the more you sense these interactions, not so much with yourself, pretty hard to see yourself, but you'll start to sense them among other people. And of course, it's way fun to look, to see, you're at the proverbial cocktail party and you see the cute guy and the cute girl, interacting quite a bit through their second chakras, right? So if you've ever had the chance to come to one of my weekly Facebook shows or one of my workshops, you've probably seen me move people up spiritually. That's what I do the most, and it can be kind of colorful and give off quite an exciting vibe. And hopefully, we'll be doing something like that here in just a minute. So the interplay between people, their interactions of their personal energy fields, the fields I was just describing, reveals a great deal. And again, these interactions show how we connect to each other in ways that our psychology experts and our sociology experts haven't stumbled on yet. But the ancients knew it. The ancients did. So there is interdependence between all living creatures, not just people, all creatures. So everything we think, everything we say, and obviously everything we do holographically affects every single person and species on the planet. Isn't that amazing? We're doing that through our personal energy field. So you're probably already sensing some of this. For example, I bet you have a good gut feeling for when the whole pandemic situation is getting worse. You probably sense it, right? You don't even have to pick up your phone and you're like, oh God, things are getting worse. Notice how much we check our phones these days for the latest news. And we know that even if it's happening half a planet away, it's impacting us. So again, there are great teachings here for us with this world health situation we're in. We're going to learn so much from it as a species. And we feel connectedness, not just because we see it up there on a screen, on your phone, but because you are energetically connected to it. Again, through the fourth level of your field, you're connected to every sentient being on the planet. Pretty amazing, huh? And that means that you can feel everyone's and everything's presence, their hope, their joy, their despair. I published a piece in early, I guess it was right after the election, so kind of mid-November, on empathy, because I felt really it was time for us all to focus on it, to become more empathetic. And isn't that what I'm talking about right now, is being able to feel the feelings of others. So how do we feel them? Through chords. You see me circling now. I'm coming back to my topic. Now, there are other kinds of energetic exchanges between people besides chords, like streamers, things I teach in my energy healing school. But I want to talk about chords because I know you guys can pick it up really easily today, and it'd be helpful to you. So you're sitting inside that bubble, your personal energy field. It's got 7 major focal points that we call chakras. That just means focal point of light. And the chords go from your first chakra, for example, to her first chakra, and from your second chakra to his second chakra. They don't mix. They go from same chakra to same chakra. And When I was a young healer, the first thing I ever noticed was people's second chakra cords. And for all I knew, that's the only kind there were. But again, I was young and didn't know what I was doing. And the reason I realized later that I was so zeroed in on the second chakra was that's where all my issues were. So I was dealing with the remnants of sexual abuse and trying to work my way through it. And when I finished school and finished teaching there and had a private practice, I still had all these people coming to my office who were dealing with second chakra issues. Like I had a sign out front, right, that said, "Screwed up by abuse, come on in." So, I had a big neon sign. And that's because I was attracting a clientele that would help me heal my issue. So it's kind of interesting how that works. And later I started to get all the cord issues, not just second chakra issues. When people have second chakra issues, often the cords that they were connected to, like their mother, for example, through a second chakra cord, would be dangling outside their field. And I learned how to repair them and, put them back where they belong. And then people would talk about how their relationships were improving. So I got pretty excited about this experience as a practitioner. The power of cords in your relationship is immense. So I really want you to think about this for a minute. It's enormous. If you can restructure, clean, and clarify your cords, you can really restructure, clean, and clarify your relationships. It's pretty incredible. So again, they're always on the 4th level of your field or higher. Now, why is that? Well, because cords don't die when you die. So you have a grandparent, right, or a parent who has passed on, and you say to yourself, but geez, I'm still feeling my mother, or my grandmother still feels like she's here, and that's because the cords don't go away. So everything of beyond your body, beyond the 3rd level, doesn't disappear at death. The only thing that disappears at death is what? Your body. That's it. The rest of you, and you're mostly a spirit being, your body's the least important part of you. The rest of you remains, as did the rest of your mother or your grandmother. That's why you still feel connected to loved ones when they pass on. You're picking them up through those cords. All right, so how many kinds of cords are there? Well, there are 5. Let's talk about them. First, there's soul cords. Soul cords connect you to your sense of the God force, whatever that is for you. And that's where you connect to your guardian angel, your personal guides. They're obviously early cords. And, I want to throw in a word here about past life phenomena, because once in a while I will sense past life phenomena in somebody's soul cord. I rarely find it helpful for a student or client to focus on a past life. All it does is give us excuses for, frankly, not fixing our problem in this life. So the client or student always says to you, "Oh, I know I have that really bad habit, but listen, it's from a past life," and excuse. So what I always teach is, forget past lives. Just focus on this one. Isn't this one enough, right? There's plenty of work here. Secondly, past life memories can be very, very deceiving. Rare is the practitioner who has enough training and or spiritual evolution to interpret it correctly for you. And thirdly, if you're working with a medium, that's even riskier because, no offense, but mediums typically have outsized egos, or worse, are dealing with outright possession because they hung out in a realm too long where they were at risk. For example, when I went to see John of God, and people here raise your hand if you know about John of God, right? Pretty well-known, beloved healer who's fallen on bad times. Poor guy. I worked with him, it's been 30 years, I guess, and it was unnerving because I realized he had been invaded by some not good spirits. And the reason was, if you know his work, he he leaves his consciousness in the green room, literally, and comes out to work with people, and he's not present. So that's a really old style of working, of healing that goes back, oh God, back to the 20s and the 30s. Even when I was young and studying this work 40 years ago, it wasn't taught in the US. It's considered very dangerous. So again, be really, really cautious who you work with. And I don't recommend that you work with a medium. I do think it's risky. So that's why I don't, that's one of the reasons why I don't focus in on past lives. Again, I think that
Whatever that is.
the life you have right now is the one I really want you to focus on. That's where all your answers are. It's in this lifetime. But what about the stars? Did you come from them? That's a whole other question, isn't it? That has a whole other, I have a body of work on that topic that you can find in some of my writings and some of my videos. But it's okay to feel connected in that way. In fact, this last week, you guys all saw the full moon, right? Wasn't it fabulous? And I kept going out, not so much late at night, but really early in the morning to catch it, because it was up till like 6 a.m. So from like 4 to 6, it was this orb. And as long as I was out there, I waved to all my ancestors on Orion's belt. So chances are you might be a starseed too, but more on that another day. So we just talked about soul cords. Now let's talk about genetic or birth cords. You surely have a bunch of those. So when do they form? Oh, before conception. Think about that for a moment. Isn't that amazing? So when your senses become fully developed, your paranormal senses, your ability to sense outside the norm, the ones I mentioned earlier, maybe you can feel outside the norm, or hear outside the norm, or see, or know. Those are paranormal senses. When you get that developed, you can sense the baby-to-be's energy field floating outside the mother-to-be's energy field.
You know,
It's a really fun experience the first time it happens to you. And
So what do you want to
who's
do?
making the effort to connect?
Yeah.
We could do it on your other
soul
phone.
incarnated is making an effort to connect.
Late. I went
And
to call my uncle.
now, tip,
We
if the
call them
mother is
now,
afraid
that's
of
interesting.
pregnancy and not open to it yet,
Let's call them
she
now.
won't open her heart
But then
chakra
what
enough
about
to allow it
Dr.
to
Manson?
happen. Isn't that interesting? It's a major cause of
No, you're
infertility.
right. I can't.
So the mother needs to open her heart really deeply,
Go ahead and do it.
and her thymus gland, by the way, here, in order to, plus her pituitary, in order to get pregnant. It seems like a lot of stuff. Women
Is
get
that what you
pregnant
want to
all the time,
watch?
right? Like
Yeah,
falling
that's
off a
it.
log. But if you think about it, that is quite a bit that has to
I
coincide,
just want to make sure what
magically
you want to watch.
coincide. So there are also cords that connect
Yes.
the mother's heart chakra to the egg and the father's heart chakra to his
Oh.
sperm.
Okay.
So isn't this
Well,
interesting? This means that you are deeply connected by cords to your parents before
want me
you
to
were
turn it up?
even conceived or born. Wow, think about that. So once this initial genetic cord connection has happened, then those connections go through all your other chakras. So this information is shared throughout your whole energy field. And then because you're connected to both parents, now you're also connected to your siblings, right? And their parents, your grandparents, their sisters and brothers, your aunts and uncles and cousins, and so on. So if you think about it, you are connected through your bloodline, through the genetic tree of life, all the way back to the beginning of the species. Just think about that for a moment. You're connected all the way back. And this is a great network of life. It's very exciting. And again, we are not, we think that we're separate from each other. Here's my skin, there's yours, but we aren't. We truly aren't. So I think cords are a really exciting topic because you can do so much to change your present life by just focusing in on and figuring out which ones you have that are not fabulous and intending to clean them up, and you can. And that takes me to relational cords, because that's what you probably want to be focused in on. So Relational cords are with your parents.
Okay, here's the
Doesn't
problem.
matter, by the way, if they're your birth parents or your adoptive parents. If you have both, you'll have both
It's all
kinds of cords.
controlled by
So,
that.
here, let me hit the mute all button. Hold on, guys. It's not down here. Here we go. So, you still hear me? Let me try to mute myself. Again, if you're adopted, you not only have your original birth parent cords, but you have your adoptive parent cords. And these relational cords develop in the womb or during the birth process or whenever you pick up that parent, if it turns out you are also adopted. And the state of the cord tells you the state of your relationship. So think for a moment about your mother, for example. Alive or dead, remember, it doesn't make any difference. Doesn't make any difference if she's passed on. You're still corded. So let's just all think about our mothers for a minute and ask ourselves, how healthy is that cord? We relate to other people of that same gender the way we relate through the mother cord. I never could figure out my whole life. Till I was 40, I was always trying to figure out why I had such terrible relationships with women. I thought, what is it? I can't even form a female friendship. I only related to men, and very well to men. Whether it was the judge up there, I was trying to convince I was a young lawyer, whether I was trying to convince him to, vote my way on the lawsuit or partner or whatever. And it wasn't until I studied this work that I realized that I had such a poor relationship with my mother up till then that the cord was probably very brittle and unable to conduct any kind of meaningful energy. So, people will say to you, oh, you married your mother or you married your father. What they mean is you are recreating the same energy you have in that cord going to your mother or father, to the extent that you've actually picked out another person to spend time with in an interpersonal relationship that will help you clear that cord. Well, an easier way to do it, rather than having a whole nother relationship where you have to end up getting a divorce or something. Much easier, wouldn't it be, to work on the cord, right? And then go out and have a healthy relationship. So the first thing you need to know is that all the cords on the left side of your chakras are always going to a female, always, and the ones on the right side of your energy field out of each chakra are always going to a male figure. And then you just decide which side your problems are on, and then you'll know if it's mother or father that is your main area where your cord isn't healthy. And cords change and grow as your relationship changes and grows. Cords can be healthy, interdependent, or not. The fuller and stronger the relationship, the better looking your cord will be. So what's a cord look like? I shouldn't say look, because I prefer to sense. So a cord that you're sensing that's healthy feels alive, it feels bright, it's pulsating. It's like a blood vessel that's full of life, It's flexible, and it can maintain intimacy and trust and understanding, and makes plenty of room for freedom and flexibility in the relationship. Now ask yourself how your relationship with your mother is. Is it alive, bright, pulsating, and flexible, or is it dark, unhealthy, heavy, stiff, or brittle? So that's how mine was then. And then I did a lot of work, thank God, while my mother was still on the planet. God rest her soul. I'm so glad she lived till 90, because I really needed all that time to fix things. And she did her part. She really came around and did her part to help build a better cord. So the more tied you are to a person through an unhealthy cord, the more you will habitually interact incorrectly. Just think about your mother or father. It's a cinch you've got one cord going to a parent that's not super. And you can just focus in on that one right now. It'll take you into dependence and not being flexible instead of flexible, and it will crowd out your individuality. You'll always behave the same way when you go to see dad, something like that. I used to remember that when I was a young adult, say in my late 20s, and I would go home, I would stand the whole time in front of the refrigerator, rating the refrigerator. And I never do this in my house. Why am I doing it in my mother's house? And I realized it was my way of coping with the intimacy of that cord exchange right there, right, standing right there, instead of being on a distant phone call. And it was just too hard. It was too hard for me. Relationships that are like that, they get stuck. You're depressed, you get resentment, you get angry. If someone's trying to suck something out of you, like get them to be taken care of, they'll send out a sticky tentacle and try to pull your energy to them. They'll hook in and cling. We'll look for the mute button here. Oh, that didn't work. You guys hear that? It's coming from the platform, I think.
Coming from Brandon's microphone.
Hey, Ken, are you here? Oh, there we go. That's good. Where were we? So as your relationships get healthier, I want you to know your cords get healthy. This isn't rocket science. You can tell when you can evaluate your cord to your mother or father by just looking at your relationship and saying, is it better this year or next year than it was last year? It is that simple. This is real easy stuff. It's fun to teach because I know you can do it. You can get off this call and go home and just do it. You can build intimate relationships and remain psychically connected to people, living or dead. Remember, living or dead. And you can fix it just by focusing on it. Now let's talk about an adult relationship for a minute that has ended for you in he or she broke up with you, abandoned you, divorced you, or sadly died. So I'm talking about an intimate adult relationship where you lost your partner through one of those things. And cords get really damaged in this experience. I mean, really damaged. The client, you will often, I'll perceive that your cords are just like ripped out of your heart chakra, what it feels like. And that's what it feels like to you. You've all felt it, right? We've all had a bad breakup or loss of a partner, and it is just shattering, right? Well, the way it looks, or the way I sense it is, it feels like your energy field's torn open and the cords are just floating, looking for their spot, because they've lost it. Typically, if it's a divorce, the more partner more interested in ending the relationship will pull his or her cords back pretty strongly, pretty forcefully, and it feels just like you've been torn in half. And death does that. Death is a very jarring experience to the survivor. So, here's everybody's left in pain. Well, what can you do about that? You can, you guys can hear me, right? Okay. You can repair this yourself. You can. You can do a ceremony to reinstate your own cords. And I would recommend that if we're talking about a bad breakup that you don't think you've recovered from. All you have to do, in fact, let's all just do it together right now. So we're taking our focus to our heart chakra, right in the center of our chest. We're envisioning it to be vibrant, and it's a beautiful Kelly green color, by the way. It's Kelly green, and we're sensing that it's cycling ever so normally. Don't try to picture the direction, that's too tricky. Just say to yourself, I've got this beautiful light, this green light right in the center of my chest, and it's just moving beautifully. And it's getting bigger and bigger as it moves, and bigger and bigger. And intend for any cords that have been detached from their normal holding place to be reignited, to be replaced, to be reinserted. Just intend for that to happen, and just feel it happening. There's no need for you to have an opening that isn't healed in the area of your heart chakra. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, I'd love to work with an audience volunteer. Somebody here think they got a chord they want to work on? Raise your hand. I see, okay, is it Guinevere? Hi, Guinevere, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, hi, can you hear me?
I can, hi. Tell me what city you're in first.
I'm in Salinas, which is Monterey County. I'm right 20 minutes away from Monterey.
Okay, great. How can I help you?
So I have a lot of coding through my parents, but recently my husband has had depression, and he's been almost in a depression coma. And we've been married for almost 27 years, actually over 27 years. And there's just this, like you described that feeling of a relationship ending and the tendrils kind of hanging out. We're trying to coordinate and rewrite our contract together right now. And but I just, I'm wondering if how I can clear that cording. I feel too much attached to that depression, to that lifestyle. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Let me ask you a couple questions. So how long has he been depressed?
It's been since he had a very bad accident that was debilitating 15 years ago.
Oh.
And we also lost a son after 5 months pregnancy 15 years ago. And we have a son who's 12. But for the last 7 or 8 years, he has been a shut-in and hasn't, he's kind of withdrawn from everything.
Has he been able to work through this period?
No.
No. Uh-huh. Yeah, he feels, I'm just feeling him through you, he feels significantly depressed. Has he been able to get some help, Guinevere, from local services?
Yes, he's through the VA now. During the summer, I said, we've got to change. I instigated a separation, and he checked himself into a hospital. He's back in the house now, but he's regularly seeing a therapist.
Oh, I think that's wonderful. And I actually think that was very proactive of you to kind of take a radical step there to encourage him to get some help. That's what it sounds like. Uh-huh. Yeah, no, I think things are going to get better. He's definitely on the road to recovery. I do not sense unhealthy cords, though. I do not. They feel normal. Your cords to him all feel normal. Mm-hmm.
It's the shift.
Yeah. No, you feel yourself. You feel competent. You're qualified. While it's been a rough time, it actually feels like this was very spiritual evolving time for you. And really put you on the driver's seat, kind of on your own 2 feet. Yeah. So it might have seemed like all bad news, but actually I think there was a great deal of good things that came out of the accident and the ensuing darkness. Yeah. But no cord problems.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have a quick question. I'm a teacher, and I'm wondering the cording. Maybe you could speak to it later, or but the cording through children to their teachers. Or is there such thing? Is that maybe the relationship?
Yeah, and that's what you're asking that question, right? Is that Guinevere that's asking that question?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. No, that's a really interesting question, and I can't really answer it in the abstract because I work with energy, and so I have to actually I have to have an energy vehicle to sense properly. It would vary from teacher to teacher and student to student.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. And I'm being shown. I have a guide right now that's showing me one of one of Carl Jung's books. So I suspect the answer's in there. That's helpful. Yeah. All right, and a question from Maria Del Sol.
Yeah.
Hi, Maria. What city are you in?
Thank you so much. I am in New York City, and
How can I
I
help?
would like to heal my father's cord.
You'd like to what?
Heal the cord on my father's side.
Heal with your dad. And he's alive?
Yes, but I have no communication with him.
And he's living where?
I assume he's in Colombia, but I don't know for sure.
And that's where you're from originally?
I was born in Colombia, but I was raised in Chile, and he wasn't around throughout my childhood. And then when I was 17, he reappeared in my life, and we attempted to have a normal father-daughter relationship for a few years, but things ended badly in my 30s, and
Was there an argument?
there was a big argument. Yes.
Yeah, I sense that. And does it involve other relatives, the disagreement?
Well, since then, all the side of my half brothers from his side stopped talking to me. I don't have a lot.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear this. Yeah, because it seems that your relationship with your father is important for you, and I would reach out and just keep reaching out. Like periodically. Send emails or postcards or something. It's important to him too. And it feels like other people got in the way. Is that possible?
No, it was he blamed my mother for a lot of things, and
That's the other people.
he put her in the middle, but she wasn't in the middle.
She didn't really want to be there. Yeah, no, it's going to heal, Maria, and it's critical to you that it does heal. So just keep working away at it. People change over time. And it's going to be much easier to do while he is alive, I'm being told.
Okay, I feel it's very difficult for me.
Yes, I'm sure. It's
To
hard, huh?
reach out for him right now.
Yeah, but it's gonna end well. So just know that what you're doing when you're reaching out is you are reaching out through a cord, and he does love you. He does, and he needs that contact, and has something to do with his end of life plan. Okay.
How do I work energetically on the cord?
By attempting to reach out. That's such a good question, Maria. Thank you, because all of you will want to know that the way to work on a relationship cord is to work on a relationship. Honestly, it's that simple. Yes. So in Maria's case, I'm suggesting she send emails or postcards, and in your case, it might be driving across town and taking a family member of casserole. Properly masked and gloved, by the way, recommending, and leaving it on their doorstep. I'm not assuming you're walking in with it. Okay, another question.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. You can just speak up if you have a question, because I'm getting a limited view of who's here.
Question. I have a question about.
I have a question.
I remember saying
Heidi,
widow
is it
was
Heidi
somebody
that's
really-
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's me.
Karen,
Heidi, what
I haven't
city
been
are
to
you
a.
in?
I am in Jensen Beach, Florida now.
This is Karen.
Go
Is
ahead,
there
Heidi.
Heidi? My name's Karen.
So
Okay.
it's almost like you feel like he's trying to cut our cords, and I don't know why.
Who's trying to cut it, Heidi? I didn't catch that.
Oh, the man I live with. we've lived together for a year. He was widowed, technically widowed 4 years ago. They never actually married. They were together 16 years. She was very sick. It was a passive suicide, actually. And we've come together, and there's been a lot of healing, but he'll get very close, and then he pulls back, and then he gets closer. You can almost feel him trying to cut the cords, and I don't. We've
And
known each other.
Tell me what the relationship is. Is this your father you're talking about?
No, no,
I
it's
didn't
the man I
catch
live
what the
with. He's a,
relationship was. She got cut
Sorry.
off there.
oh, sorry. Yeah, no, we dated in our 20s, and we're just back together now in our 50s. So.
Okay, this is a romantic
think
relationship.
Yeah, but I think it
And what
seems
city
like,
are
I
you
wonder if sorry, Jensen
I'm
Beach,
not
Florida.
getting quite enough of Heidi to answer her question. She's kind of, is it just me?
Jensen Beach,
She's coming in and out. Oh, all of us. Okay, Heidi, maybe you could drop your question in the chat window, because I'm sorry, I'm just not getting all of it. I'm only getting part of what you're saying. And while I'm waiting for that, I'll take another question, take another live question here. Saw somebody else with their hand in the air a minute ago.
I have a question.
Just have to speak up, and then you will suddenly pop on my screen.
I have a question.
I have a question.
Mine's Carol.
Anne, I think Anna said she had a question. Anna, where are you? If you speak, you know, you become visible.
I had a question.
I have a question.
I have a question.
No more brave attendees.
I have a question.
Want to look at boards?
I do. Can you
If
hear
you're
me?
going to speak, unmute yourself to be able to.
I think I have.
This is Natalie. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Is it Natalie?
Yes. From
Natalie, where are you? Tell me where you are, because I'm better at reading if I know where my client is.
Mandeville, province of Quebec.
Westchester, Pennsylvania.
I'm sorry, where are you?
Mandeville,
In
province
Westchester,
of Quebec
Pennsylvania.
in Canada.
Quebec. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
How can I help you?
Westchester.
What can you tell me about my cord with my father? I just realized a few days ago that I was playing some my relationship with my father still. I thought I had cleared that, but
You're coming and going quite a bit, but I got a really good look at you while you were here a second ago, and your relationship with your father is troubled. The cord is torn right now. Does the relationship feel torn?
it's not very good. Yeah, it's difficult.
Yeah, it's difficult, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Is there some work you could do on it? Is there some way you could reach out to him? Maybe not by phone, but something a little less personal?
It's not that we don't talk, so I can phone anytime, but communication is very difficult. So,
is he on another country?
No, we're in the same province, but with COVID, I haven't seen my parents for almost a year now. Mm-hmm.
And the longer we go, the harder it is. That's a tip to all of you. Is the longer we go without seeing our family, parents especially, the harder it is to reconnect the cord. Mm-hmm. So even if you just can communicate through text or email or smoke signals or something, it really does help. And Natalie, that's what I recommend to you, is to start communicating in some way. But those of you who are contemplating that, listening and thinking, well, maybe I should do that, remember to protect yourself. If your parent has been rough with you emotionally or otherwise, don't be foolhardy. Make efforts to connect, but at the same time, keep some distance if there have been those kinds of issues. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
So when
Someone
you
have
say
another question?
Can
I see a
I
question
have a
from Mary Kay here in the chat window. She says, both of my parents died years ago. How do I reach out specifically?
That's what I want to know.
Well, it can easily be done. I'm telling you. In fact, my communications with my mother, who is deceased, are better, better open and more receptive channel than prior. So I don't want you to think that death in any way ends a cord. It does not. It does not. Cords are on the 4th level of the field, and the stuff that disappears is on level 1, 2, and 3. That's your physical body. That's all that leaves at death. And the rest of you, your much larger spiritual being, transcends all of that and just keeps surviving endlessly. You know, we are spirits that have an endless, no ending. Just have to think about that for a minute. It's such a big thought, isn't it? It is. So let me just chat just for a moment here, just take a second to just kind of review with you some of the really common things that, you know, if you have a first chakra cord issue, you might have had abuse. That's a really common thing that will create cord problems. Trying to connect to, I'm talking relationship cords here, and remember you have a relationship cord from each chakra to your parents. So if you have first chakra issues, it could be from abuse, can also be from injuries. I used to be a ski racer, and one season, I don't know how I had this ill luck. I fell twice on my tailbone and broke it twice in one season, and that, of course, is not the best thing for the base chakra or your cords in that area. So if you have trouble with first chakra issues, you know, you might have grounding issues, right? That's how we stay connected to the earth. Now, second chakras are all about your sensual experiences, your sexuality, relationships with other people, and just a fun fact, I remember learning this when I studied with the Carlos Castaneda people, that we remain corded to every person we ever have sex with, ever. So sorry to tell you that. Those cords remain intact, every single one, and they can be cleaned and positive. You can have a little ceremony to clean and charge your sexual cords. Just be sending up to the light all the experiences you had that were negative, and tell spirit that you simply want to retain the positive ones, and you send the best intentionality to those partners.
In that region for our empty ICU beds.
Any kind of abuse, of course, is going to totally screw up the second chakra cord, as does obviously something like rape or an invasive medical procedure on a child is really hard on children. You know, in some parts of the country, there's female genital mutilation still going on. Horrors, isn't that horrible? And that is a big cord. It causes big cord issues.
Well, I'm on it,
and
so it's fine.
Issues with the second chakra would be, if you're a man, it would be prostate issues, and if you're a woman, it would be vaginal or ovarian or pelvic inflammatory disease, something like that. Third chakra cords are how you relate, take care of yourself. Big deal. How much care do you give you? And third chakras can get really screwed up by the over-controlling parent. This is often what happens with the third chakra. And if you go through life and you have trouble connecting to other people, it could be that you might have a third chakra cord issue that you might want to put your focus on, to clean it, to charge it, to balance it. Again, you just have to focus on it. I teach my students in my beginning classes how to clear, charge, and balance cords. It's one of the first things I teach them for a client. And common illnesses that develop from third chakra issues, like liver issues or gallbladder issues, or just think of all the organs you have around your third chakra. I'll tell you a story I had. One of my earliest client experiences, I was a very young healer. I had been sought out by a TV producer in Hollywood, and I was living close to Hollywood, and I was very infatuated with the industry, and he was real interested in following me to shamans that I was seeing in South America, and he was going to film the whole thing. He called me over the Christmas holiday and told me that he just had a baby and had a diagnosis of pancreatic cancer. Wow, what a horrible thing, right? So he said, won't you come work on me? Well, I had a terrible time. I was too young and inexperienced to know how to really hold my ground and my objectivity, knowing the client, because this was someone I was working with. And I did a terrible job, I'm sure. I was just undone by the diagnosis. Now, flash forward many, many, many years, now I would know exactly how to manage that client interaction. But it was a real wake-up call for me that I needed way more training. Okay, and then you go to your fourth chakra, your heart chakra. Again, they're all on the fourth level of the field. But now we're looking right at the chakra, the fourth. And this is your heartstrings. This is the one you know the best. This is when you have the breakup and you feel the string actually being pulled. That's literally the cord you're sensing. The most common problem, with a breakup is later in life you can get palpitations, atrial fibrillation, heart attacks, all that stuff. We really need, like we were just talking with some of you a minute ago, we need to keep our heart chakra and our heart cords open, especially to our parents. There's a way to do it even if you are not in communication with your parents. There's absolutely a way to do it. So you just have to kind of figure out how to respect yourself, still have that cord, so that you can keep it vital and alive and flexible and not let it get brittle or ripped out, if at all possible. Because years of working with people has taught me how important that those parental cords really are. And then we get up higher, right? Now we're talking fifth chakra cords, where you intend from. This is your intentionality, and where you speak your higher truth. Here you'll get, if your cords are not well, you'll get thyroid conditions or misalignments and cervical, all kinds of things can go wrong, right? Keep in mind that out of all the Synthroid prescriptions for thyroid medication, 90% of them are given to women. I'm always harping on this because women are more inclined to quash their boys. And so we put so much pressure on our throat that shut the thyroid gland down. Then you get to here, you get to your sixth, right? Where you recognize beauty and love and perhaps a guide like the Christ light or the Buddha light. And if you get damaged here, you might have headaches or confusion or learning disabilities. And then finally we get to the top of our head, right? So the seventh chakra. And understanding the perfect pattern of your relationship with your parent is up here. And really connecting to your spiritual heritage. The seventh chakra cords, if they do get damaged, it's usually at birth, which I think is kind of interesting. And that's the client that you can't really get into their body. They're floating above the earth somewhere. Questions? Anybody have a question?
I have a question.
You just have to speak up, I think.
Can you hear me,
I have a
Deborah?
question. Hi.
Can you hear
Hi,
me?
is it Nettie?
Yes, it is. Thank
I
you.
saw you there with your hand in the air, Nettie. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead. I see you. Go ahead and speak.
Maybe let me put this in. See if this helps.
Uh-huh.
Does this help?
How can I help you?
I have a question about cords. I do have thyroid issues.
Uh-huh.
Um, so that resonated, but I wanted to ask, I'm in a relationship and I know you said don't kind of harp on past lives, but I do feel like we both had past lives together and we seem to be in this push-pull, and the times we've been separated really does feel like those cords are getting ripped. But
Are you separated right now?
no, we're not. We've come back together, but we've had that kind of pattern, and I'm just wondering if there's some things that need to get healed kind of on this other level for us
Well,
to.
I'm not looking at your partner because I don't have his or her permission, but looking at you, the main thing I would suggest is that you integrate the head and the heart. You've got a little split going on here in the middle. And that's going to impact that relationship quite a bit because you'll be trying to be someone you're not. I want to encourage you to be the beautiful, real you that you are with this person and let them deal with it. Does that make sense? Feels like you're being a little bit inauthentic, that you're afraid to be you.
Mm-hmm. No, that resonates. Thank you.
All right, you're very welcome. Okay, we're just down to the last few minutes, you guys. So hasn't this been a fun platform? Thanks again to New Living Expo for hosting this. I think it's really sweet of them to give us a place to get together this time of year. I am headed over to, I have a booth here, and I'm headed over there right now. So if I didn't get a chance to talk to you personally and answer your personal question, I will be there taking questions. And again, it's been
You don't need your booth.
great fun talking to you all.
You know, getting paid for it, so I don't know that I can refund it.
All right. See you in the booth. Take care.
Thank you, Deborah, for giving us an hour of your time. Really appreciate that. And everybody, just so you know, we've got a couple more minutes. In case anybody needs to know what's going on, go up to the top, the schedule, and you'll have to go out of here and just we'll say leave booth and then go to the schedule, and you'll find different talks that you want. But you cannot enter the talk until the time that it starts. Unfortunately, I wish there was another way to do it, but there isn't. And maybe go get a glass of water, go to the bathroom while you got a few minutes before, and make sure you visit the exhibit booths. There's 22 of them, and they all would appreciate browsing it through. And they'll also be open for the 30 days after the show too, but you won't be able to live chat with them like we're doing now. You can do that only during the weekend, but after that, you can at least visit their sites and see what they're offering. So thanks again for Deborah giving us an hour of her wonderful time and having a booth, and definitely go check out her booth. She'll be there answering more questions for you, and just make it a fun day. Make this, I wish it was Sunday fun day. That's what we call it in yoga. So enjoy it and make the best.
Thank you again.
Great. Okay, everybody, I'm out of here. Tony? Tony, you can hear me? You're muted. Did Kimberly Meredith check in? No, not yet. She's on in a minute. Okay. I think she was going to, I think she can go on, but she might be like John Gray, just be not a speaker, but, a guest. So I'll deal with it. No problem.
Okay. Hi, Lori. This is Tony. Can I help you?
Okay, let's go to the schedule. There's Kimberly. You're muted, Kimberly. I can't hear you. Maybe oh, there it is. Okay. Speak up a little bit, Kimberly. We can't hear you. Can you talk, Kimberly? You can hear me. Okay, good. All right, let me do a little intro. We got a couple minutes, maybe let some more people to come in. Yeah, it's just let it keep building here a little bit. Okay, so how's everybody doing today? Having fun? There's a lot of internet stuff, which not so good for the brain, but we'll have to go outside and jog a little bit and take it off because it's so much. So if anybody's from a foreign country, please put that in the chat. I always like to see where people are from. We got some people from Indonesia earlier. So Kimberly Meredith is an internationally acclaimed medical medium and healer. After 2 near-death experiences, NDEs they call it, she experienced an incredible encounter with God and received miraculously healing gifts from the Holy Spirit. Through her healing mediumship and blinking eyes, that's her specialty, she can do her medical readings into the body faster and more accurately than the fastest MRI and thermography machines, accurately detecting all manner of medical and emotional conditions. Kimberly hosts a #1 rated syndicated radio hit, The Medical Intuitive Miracle Show. She is also a frequent guest on numerous national syndicated radio shows and podcasts. In early 2021, she has a new book coming out, Awakening to the Fifth Dimension, published by St. Martin's Press. And please welcome Kimberly Meredith. You take it away, and at 5 minutes before, you'll get a little signal saying you're done. Everybody, if you can stay muted, we'll appreciate that. And if Kimberly wants to do Q&A, then she'll ask you to unmute. Very good. And you want to see the people in the audience, right? Kimberly? Yes? Because you have a choice. If we turn everybody's video off, you'll be bigger. But I think it's okay the way it is. I can mute all, and because you came in as a speaker. So you take it away. It's all yours. Well, you can hear us, right? We can hear you. If you can hear, if everybody can hear Kimberly, just put a thumbs up. Go ahead, Kimberly. I am. I'm up here. I'm here, but if somebody's running water, you only see I see 9 people. Yeah, but we can hear you. But somebody's running a shower, I think. No, I'm not muted. Oh, you can't hear me now? How about now? The microphone? Well, we can hear you. Why don't you just give us some words of wisdom? I'm, I'm going to mute everybody because that noise is bothering me. No, you don't. You can't unmute anybody. They have to unmute themselves. I'm going to mute everybody right now. I'm, I, I'm unmuted. You can't see me. You can't hear me? No, okay, I could do that. Ah, okay. I hear you fine.
Hi, honey.
I hear you fine on the thing, and I can hear you. I think everybody else can hear you. It's just a matter of you not able to hear them for some reason. I don't know why. But you came.
Hear me, and everybody was really about being able to
Right, that's how it is. Yeah, this is the software. We can't like see all the screens and stuff. It's not Zoom. But what I suggest is maybe you talk, and then if somebody has a question, they put it in the, we want to work on somebody, put it in the say something, which is like the chat, and then they can put in what their issue is or what they want you to work on.
Okay, so I'm not gonna be able to speak to anybody. You can't unmute anyone?
They can unmute themselves, and if you talk, you can. Yep, I can. She's unmuted. She's unmuted. I can hear her. What? No. Yeah.
Okay, so unmuting people.
You can't unmute people. They have to do themselves.
Then Julie,
I hear you loud and clear, but I don't know who you are. Okay. So I'll use my phone, and then if they speak, you can hear it through the phone because I can hear them on their.
yeah,
What about give people a little history, and then we'll see what happens. Maybe we can. You can hear them through my phone because I can hear them, and then you can hear it through my phone.
all right. But
So
I'm going to more people.
yeah, well, whoever's talking with unmuted and microphone unmuted and the video on, then they usually come front and center. I've had that before. They'll show up.
For me to be able to
Well, you can do enter full screen. It's on the bottom of the screen where all the people are. There's a little enter full screen. I suggest that because everybody's a little bigger.
okay, I just did that.
Right, that helps a little bit.
See, look, people have their video.
Right. Yes, exactly. This is not Zoom. When, yeah, and she can't. Yeah, she can't hear that. But did you hear what she just said, Kimberly? Did you hear Erica what she just said? Yeah, did you hear that, Kimberly?
Yeah, I'm hearing.
Good. Okay.
I can't see this side. That's not the chat that's going on.
I can tell you what's in the chat as people put stuff in there.
All right. I'm so sorry. Open up like this. Also, I can't get holding it. So who wants to read?
Yeah, I will do that. I'm gonna stop my video because it makes it sell better. Go ahead. You can hear me, but go ahead. Who wants a reading? But the people who are talking get her on there too. Like Erica, I can see you very well. Yes. So it was meant to be for you.
So, okay. You keep moving around here. You're going up and down. Look in the chat. Do that. If somebody wants to take a picture of section, okay, there's
It's not pen. Right.
So first, take a couple breaths. If you want a reading, it's fine.
Mhm.
So anyway, my guides are saying that you're disappearing kind of back. Is there another way to do this, Ken, without?
It's not a control thing. It's just as people come in and out, they move them around a little bit. But I see Erica pretty good now. Got her hands on her face, and she's just waiting for you to tell her some words of wisdom.
Is there a way for her to?
No, no, there's no way I can.
Okay.
There's no control that I have for that.
Okay, so Erica, I have problems with your teeth at some point. They keep going, the dots keep going on your mouth. Are you there?
She wants a little feedback. I think.
Also, go through your body. Your circulation is not like going on your lower chest. Keep getting going on. Also,
I'll tell you what I'll do. Also, one more thing. I'll stop everybody's video but yours. You just turn your. I'm going to stop everybody's video and you turn yours back on. Okay, Erica? So when anybody's talking, they just turn theirs on, and you definitely will be on the screen. Okay, Erica, turn both on. And Anita, turn yours off, your video. There you go. We're waiting for Eric to come on. Video's off. Turn on your video. You're good. Now turn your video on and you'll be good. That's perfect. Turn your video on, Erica. I can't turn it on for you. Oh, on the bottom, you see? Oh, yeah, now I see. Perfect. Now we see you and Kimberly. That's perfect. Which, yeah, I see. She's texting me. That's part of the meeting. Plug it in. It's better to do that. It's better to do that than stop doing something else. Yeah, I agree. No, we want you to do a few more. Thank you. So you pick somebody from who's showing up now. Okay. So everybody else turn your video off, or there you go. Good job. That's what we have to do. Yeah. It sounds like Jamie just sent a text to me or email to both of us about a room we talked about. I mean, she's not really giving us an answer, and then she said in the email that she's the one that is handling the week and giving that. Just the answer.
Platform. And so I share with everybody.
Oh. Oh, I see.
So, you should be
So if we don't do this, nothing.
okay. So, let's see. Glad I've got my glasses on. Okay, so keep
Let's.
Okay. I love sit around
Then that goes right away.
I really like very aggressive.
So really, being
I work a lot, but
it's
it's very very different. So, gentlemen, name is Neil.
Ashley told me that it's basically to do a screenshot that's sent and video. Yeah, well, people don't read. How can she read it? All right, well, I guess the moon is your only option now, or we should do something with Jamie. Send her an email real quick. Yeah. Well, I would do her back and just, does she recording not work at all now, or what? Really? She's fine. You know, she wants to be able to attend people. Can't hear.
So, so point out things that feel like morning stuff. And it would be like a long time ago, something happened in person. And nobody cares to see you, but that I think that's the thing for just like a leader. But it's not cool to see the person. So it would help upper movement as far as you breathe in.
Sounds like you're outside. Is there a solution for that? He asked. We'd love to hear that, don't we, guys? Maybe.
And meaning not really diet, meaning more
I'll put healing trilogy in the chat. So there was Julie up there that would like to have a little mini session. He's muted. We have 15.
That is fine.
Yeah. She's on there. She's here. I just see 2 on the screen. I only show you 2 on. I only saw Julie on of all the people. Yeah. It's probably it's your alias. You have another. I don't see it at all. Huh. Well, maybe the other person can stop the video. Yeah, I thought they were. Yeah, Cynthia, can you print your video off, dear?
Oh no, I lost everybody.
No, everybody's there. Julie's there, and
No, I don't see anyone.
you're there.
Wait, hold on. Maybe everybody's hidden. Hold on. I don't know where everybody went.
You want me to do FaceTime with you, and you can see them?
For some reason, can you still see me?
Yeah, and hear
Okay,
you.
I don't know where everybody went. They just disappeared on me.
Well, you're on the phone now. Yeah, you disappeared now too. You turn your video off? Let's see. I can't turn it on. Kimberly, yeah. I hear you on the phone. I think you left the room, Kimberly.
I know. I don't know how to get back in the room.
Go back to schedule and click your time slot.
Okay. Sorry.
I don't see her on the attendee list at all. Her video's off? I don't see her at all. Yeah. Yeah. That's probably me.
Oh man.
Yeah. You have to come back.
But then I disappeared.
Yeah, just go to the schedule and click your name again.
Okay, hold on. Sorry.
Glad we got backup cell phones for what we need, you know.
Oh my god.
Here, I'm gonna
That's
put.
so weird.
Can I put you on FaceTime? Well, then you can see. Then you can see.
Wait, I'm getting confused.
You don't have to. Anita, can you turn off your video, please?
Wait, I'm trying to get back in the room.
No, you're coming to go back in the room, but in the meanwhile, you can see Julie.
Okay, wait a minute. Let me just try to get back. I'm an advanced medium with what I do, but I'm not that advanced with this.
The medium is not. Your higher powers are not techie, huh?
Okay, you see me? I see Julie. Perfect.
Here she comes. Yeah, I will. Now I hung up on the phone, so you see now. You don't need the phone anymore, Kimberly. The cell phone. No, we can hear you. Well, we'd like to make your day, so that's good. So take it away, Kimberly with Julie. You're welcome. Well, we got a few minutes left. You want to just do a little blessing? Because right at 3 o'clock, we're just going to be all vacated out of the room, so we may as well take it to the end. Yep, beautiful. And if anybody wants to unmute themselves or keep themselves muted, but put your video on, that's fine too.